Hello and welcome back to the Greek Pyramid. Today I thought we could take a look at a couple more Percy Jackson fan theories. First up today is a theory I originally saw from Mike of K72 on Reddit. This theory has obvious spoilers for The Last Olympian and onwards, so consider that your warning. Let's first take your minds back to the end of The Last Olympian. Percy has just beaten Kronos and Percy has turned down all immortality. Instead, he made the Council of the Gods make an oath on the river Styx to recognise their children, the minor gods, and to pardon the peaceful Titans. This, of course, was supposed to involve freeing Calypso. Now, the important part of that is that it is on the river Styx. If you fail to keep your oath, there can be horrible consequences. Since it is within the gods' power to release Calypso, and it is a reasonable request, this theory states that the Second Giant War and the Prophecy of Seven was hastened or caused by the gods not completing their end of the agreement. This is further backed up by the direct pain and confusion the Second Giant War brought on the gods themselves. With the gods running into issues as the Greek and Roman camps started to fight, they were struggling between their Roman and Greek aspects, causing pain and confusion. This did cause quite a split amongst the gods, with Apollo later being thrown down from Olympus. And so, was all of this caused by them going back on their oath on the river Styx? I do like this theory, it makes quite a bit of sense. There are one or two questions around it though, mostly due to the fact Percy didn't specify a time limit on releasing Calypso and the other Titans. The gods didn't have to do it right away. Whilst we do know that in the end, Leo does go there and eventually manages to free her. So is this the gods doing a very indirect way of freeing Calypso? I kinda doubt it, as it was done by Chaone rather than the gods, and she isn't exactly on the gods' side. Especially as she seemed to know exactly where she was sending Leo, as she says, "Leo Valdez deserved a special punishment. I've sent him to a place from which he can never return." Meaning, it was more to curtail the Seven than to save Calypso. But let me know what you guys think about this one, and if it has any weight to it or not. I also thought I might start finishing these theory videos off with a slightly weirder or more wacky theory, and the one today was also first seen on Reddit from Iron Sandwich. This theory is that Ares is not only the god of war, but he is also now the god of cafes. So, what is the supporting case behind this? Firstly, in The Lightning Thief, he managed to make a diner fall silent and stun the waitress, also basically managing them to eat for free as he pays with drachmas. Later, in the Titan's Curse, Ares manages to open a taco place by snapping his fingers, so the other demigods had something to do whilst Percy had a chat with Aphrodite. The other evidence used to back this up is that he thinks America is the best thing since Sparta. But you may be wondering, why Ares to be the god of cafes rather than someone else? Cafes do have a lot of pointy objects in them, and if it's anything like Kitchen Nightmares, there is usually a lot of conflict and arguing going on in them, so I can see why Ares might like the general environment. I mean, as far as I can remember, he never does anything with cafes again, but it is worth bearing in mind. As weird as this theory may be, it does bring up quite an interesting point regarding spheres of power, as the idea of faith power has been spoken about, wherein which at least part of your power is derived from worship from people. I can almost see it as an American gods style system, where in which as society changes and we begin to do different things, these things have a god almost born out of them as a result of our worship and time spent. Does this mean there is a god of cafes walking around, or is it simply Ares became that aspect? Looking further into this, I feel this may be a discussion for another video, as we may be able to do a deeper dive rather than just attach this Ares cafe theory. Right, they're all the theories I have today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another video. Goodbye.